Before we start, just a quick content warning. This episode mentions sexual abuse, suicidal ideation, depression, and mental health issues. If anything of this nature triggers you, please feel free to tune out. If you need to, please reach out to a local professional or support group. Welcome to Clearly Unfiltered Snippets, bite-sized pieces of unfiltered reality. Snippet 1, The Substitute. 2 years into treatment for OCD, my psychiatrist decided to emigrate. Greener pastures, I suppose. This left me psychiatristless at a pretty vulnerable time. You see, lately I've been experiencing some really dark and difficult periods that are hard to explain. The best analogy I can come up with is that on those really, really hard days, which are usually 2 to 3, sometimes 4 on the trot, it feels like I'm trudging through almost set concrete in a dark tunnel with no seeming end. Those days have been desperate. And they've been particularly challenging because it's on those days that to be my regular high-functioning self is impossible, and I drop the easiest of balls. In the first 6 months of this year, it felt to me like this impacted my work in significant ways. I missed deadlines, I was constantly chasing my tail, and felt like an incompetent imposter. So psychiatristless me had to find a substitute. No easy feats when the hill one has to climb again with a new doctor includes reliving and retelling all of the things that make one who one is, or isn't. And while those doctors are trained not to judge, I think we often project our internal judgments of ourselves onto their assessment of our well-being. And to compound the problem, finding a substitute isn't easy. The all-stars have little space for new patients, and so waiting lists are significant. On the advice of my therapist, I found a substitute of good repute. I found her in the beginning of May, but had to wait until August to see her. That's how long it takes for a new patient to get an appointment. 2 days before my appointment, however, she had to cancel because of a medical emergency. But she did offer me 2 choices. I could either wait until December to see her, which filled me with dread, or her partner in her practice could fit me in the next day. I opted for the latter, a substitute for the substitute. Waiting room formalities done and dusted, forms filled and bank account drained. My sweaty palms rubbed my bouncing knees as I stimmed my way to a semblance of calm. In minutes, however, I felt the space that she held for me. And for the next 2 hours, as the substitute listened, I unpacked that baggage again. Out came the retrospective understanding that who I was growing up was all a pretense, a mimicking of what I thought would be palatable to others. I unpacked the social anxiety, religious trauma and church hurt, childhood sexual abuse, the panic attacks, ruminations, and depressive episodes, the relational struggles and the visceral guilt from my days as an evangelical leader. I reached deep to reveal the obsessive compulsions, my lack of focus, the dark days and the good days, and the life-changing impact of therapy and sertraline. I unpacked it all, even the times when being alive seemed futile. And it took a good 2 hours. She saw me, as I said before, held space for me, and suggested next steps in my treatment plan. It all made sense. It affirmed to me again that all this is real. These struggles are not made up or simple to overcome, as some might say. This is who I am, and to live fully and to be completely present, I need help, even when all one has is a substitute for a substitute. In the parking lot before driving home, I sat a while with my engine on and the aircon blowing, and I reflected on the stigma that is still attached to mental health issues, particularly amongst men. I reflected on the need to normalize talking about our struggles and seeing professionals and taking medication if necessary. I understood again that just like one manages high blood pressure, cardiac irregularities, asthma, and chronic fatigue, encouraging and finding treatment and support for mental illness is crucial. So to all my fellow strugglers out there, take care, seek help, reach out, be gentle with yourself. And to those of you who don't struggle with debilitating mental illness and can't understand it, please, please be vigilant. See others. Check in with your friends. Notice. Help them to get help. Be present.